Okay, welcome back to our Q&A session on why doing a PhD in computer science in Germany. The next session will be about what's next, we call it. So what are the career options after the PhD? So when I think about it, into my mind, there pop two things. I either walk the road of industry career, where I say finally goodbye to university after so many years and proceed with industry, or I say I can't get enough of this. I want to stay at university and proceed with an academic career afterwards, and then maybe go this career path that you see before you, with postgraduate, no, postdoctoral researcher, I think, then junior professor, or then professor. So maybe as a kickoff question, Mr. Karl, what is the most, if you look at the people that achieved to do that PhD at your group, where are they now? How many of them are in industry, and how many stayed in an academic career? Can you?
Well, you should have warned me beforehand.
Sorry about that.
I think most of them, by far, the lion's share are in industry. One of my PhD students is now professor in Darmstadt. One of my postdocs is professor, but I think that's about it. Everybody else went to industry, from large companies like Airbus, still large company, who knows, but still large companies like Airbus, to small startups, all wild mixture all over the board, in various types of partially research oriented, partially very, very hands-on project management type of things.
I see. And if like, for example, for this person who is now a professor in Darmstadt, what's the typical career path for staying in an academic career? I think you're the perfect person to answer that, because you must have walked this path at some point in life, right? I don't know how much it changed or evolved over the time, but how was it for you?
It actually has changed. First, I don't think there's the typical career path. There's a big difference between more engineering-oriented disciplines like electrical engineering, for example, and the more, well, natural science, mathematically oriented disciplines like math, physics, etc. In the latter case, you have your typical university or academia-only career paths. You do your PhD, you do maybe a postdoc, then you do a junior professor. Junior professor has become really important by now. This was not important 10 years ago, but it's really important by now. Junior professor, and then your first tenured position or tenure track position, right? In engineering disciplines, it's considered very important to have some years of industry experience. So it's expected you leave university and come back. And computer science is sitting smack in the middle, right? So we see a mix of both traditions, and it's not, it depends what type of positions, it depends, sometimes you just depends on the draw of luck who's in the search committee for a particular position, whether this is important or not. So I actually have never been in industry. I'm sort of the university purebred in a sense, but I have done a lot of industry-oriented projects.
Would you consider that as a disadvantage for you personally, or not?
I have no means to compare, right? If you give me a rollback option, a checkpoint and a rollback, I'll do another 20 years and I'll tell you afterwards, right?
Sorry,
it's pure speculation, pure speculation. I had been offered industry jobs. I kind of never felt like the right thing to do. So I'm stuck here, right? And I'm still here, obviously. So Stefan, the guy who's now in Darmstadt, he actually, after graduating, he went to Alcatel and then to Huawei in Paris, so research-oriented telcos, and then got a job in Darmstadt. So he took the industry part, right?
Yeah. Okay.
There's no such thing as the career path there. There's so many options.
But yeah, I mean, sure, but I don't know, is there something that most of the people do? I mean, Florian, for example, he became a postdoctoral researcher. That's something you have to do, right? You can't become a junior professor before you did that, or
sometimes you can. Sometimes you can, but that's rather the exception than the rule. So 1, maybe 2 years postdoc is okay. I'm telling Mr. Klingler that he absolutely definitely needs to go abroad. He doesn't like to hear that, I think, but absolutely definitely needs some experience abroad. think that's very important. Okay, half year Hong Kong, that's already something, but still clearly important. No, I'm afraid there's no such thing as the typical thing I could mention there.
Okay, so maybe we should leave the personal things out of this talk here, but still, Florian, maybe it would be interesting for the people to know. I mean, what are you dreaming of? What kind of career path do you want to go? Can you say that now?
Sorry, you want to leave the personal stuff out and then you ask about what people dream about?
I mean, absolutely fine.
I'm talking about personal conflicts, maybe not about personal opinions. That can be part of this talk.
Absolutely fine. So during my PhD, I already knew that I want to follow a university career because industry was not that interesting for me for several cases. One of them being I want to decide which research I'm doing. So in industry, you are often driven by money. Okay, you're also in academia driven by money, but to my feeling, I cannot compare, but to my feeling in academia, you have much more freedom to decide in which direction your research goes. And second, I like teaching, which in industry is also not that easy to do, and at least in not that direction what you're doing at university. But what I completely underestimated was the change from finishing PhD to going to be a postdoc, because that was like falling in a big black hole. You're working towards your PhD defense, so you hand in your PhD thesis, then you get reviews for that, and then you have your PhD defense, and then after you had your PhD defense, you're working full power towards this PhD defense, and then it's over. What you're doing next. So that was a big fall into. It felt like falling in a black hole because you had no plans what immediately to do afterwards.
Maybe it's a little bit, I mean, even for people who are just like me, I mean, I'm about to finish my master thesis, then it's also a point in time where you have to think about how do I want to proceed with my life. But I mean, that's obviously maybe a little different there, but maybe also comparable, I don't know. But again, you have to ask yourself a question, how do I continue, right?
Yeah. And then you recover, and then you change, right? Before, as PhD candidate, you work on research for your PhD thesis, you publish papers and so on. And as a postdoc, you work towards writing project proposals. So being able to get money for other PhD candidates. So that change. So writing project proposals, again doing teaching, again helping others be involved as co-author in papers, also doing research, advising people and so on. But it was a change because they suddenly you're done with your PhD thesis, and that is something
great
else to think about it.
Yeah, Tobias, how is it for you, man? It's rather interesting because you have been to this. I mean, we're talking about this other career path of industry. So you have been there. You initially decided to go that way, and then you changed. Are you just doing it to boost your career options in industry afterwards, or?
That is an interesting question. When I was working for the company in industry, we were involved in several European projects and also in a few national ones. So this research and development project that are also an opportunity to get money at the university. And for the international projects, people usually didn't care so much about your academic status. So whether you have a PhD or whether you have a bachelor or master's or not, non-degree at all, nobody really cared. It was different for the national projects. So for the projects within Germany, So I had situations where I proposed something and people didn't care so much. And after the meeting, I went to my boss and asked him to participate in the next round and to exactly say the same as I did. And he did so, and then everybody was happy and they accepted our proposed idea, which was a bit strange. And he had a PhD degree and I didn't. And that was the case for other non-PhD people in that project. That was a bit strange. So that degree could give you an advantage in industry, for sure.
Was that just in that one project, or was that repeatedly the case?
It was especially in that project, but there half of the people that were involved had a PhD degree and only a few had none. But that was a very extreme case maybe, but it was a bit strange.
I mean, maybe we are lacking. Maybe we are lacking a little bit the expert for answering the question of how important the PhD is in industry, because there is no one who has very much industry experience here, right? So, no.
Well, I do have some impression from various national, international projects. I certainly agree. International, Europe, on a European level also, nobody cares. It matters what you contribute and what your title is. Nobody cares. Germany still maybe has the reputation that there's a glass ceiling, and without a title you can't break through. That may still be true in some hidebound, old-fashioned companies, but I think this is less and less the case. So also pragmatically, if you want to do a PhD just for the purpose of having the title to foster your career, but you're not interested in what you're doing, I think you're setting yourself up for a lot of heartache and 5 years of depression, and I strongly recommend not to do that. This is terrible. That's a terrible choice. If this is just a career booster and you are not interested in the topic as such, don't do that.
Maybe put it more positively. If you are interested in the topic, then it's, I mean, a good way. You get money for that, and that's
absolutely, absolutely.
I think it's a great thing that in Germany it's at least to some degree comparable to an industry job in terms of payment as compared to other countries where that is not the case. So that's cool, right?
And also, don't underestimate why project positions or project-funded PhDs are valuable and useful. You get so much experience in project management, in industrial cooperation, in these cooperative competition situations between companies. Say, once you had an Ericsson, Nokia, and an Huawei partner in one project, you know how to balance conflicting interests and how to deal with that. So that's a lot of experience again, and that also makes you valuable for industry afterwards as an employee.
So to wrap it up, it's a good thing to have it for either career, and I think it's not necessary to I don't know, have a good career in industry too. Maybe the other way around. Is it also possible to, I don't know, work in research in some way without having a PhD and go, I don't know, an academic career path without having this PhD title in the end?
No. For an academic career, you absolutely need a PhD, but that doesn't mean you cannot work in research. There's still a lot of research going on in industry, and then that you know, the chief, one of the chief architects of Google's networking division, you know what his highest academic degree is?
No.
A bachelor.
Okay.
He left university as bachelor, and he probably earns 10 times as much as all of us together here.
Yeah, I mean, that's
probably one of the most interesting jobs, right?
Okay,
that's an extreme example, sure.
Yeah.
Highly skewed distribution, but still, it highly depends what you're after.
Yeah. So anyway, you're not doing anything wrong with the PhD. It just keeps even more career options open in the end, if you want so, because then
if you like the topic, if you hate the topic and think you have to do it because your parents tell you to do it, terrible choice. Terrible choice.
Yeah.
Pick it, as I said earlier, pick a topic you like, pick an advisor you like, and then this is interesting, it's fun. And yes, sure, there will be frustration, but overall, it's usually a fun experience. And otherwise, don't do it.
Okay, I don't want to have that stand as a last word. Otherwise, don't do it. So maybe let's put it more positively. So if you are interested in that topic, I think that's a really cool way to go, and I think you will meet other people who share the same enthusiasm for the topic with you, and I think that's a great thing to grow, as far as I understood and heard from you guys. So yeah, thank you for this discussion. I think we touched most of the questions that were asked, and also I think a ton of things in addition to that. So for me, it was really fun having the discussion. I hope you enjoyed it too, and I hope that everybody's questions got answered.
And thank you for moderating, and thank you for asking the question. Much appreciated.
Thanks.
And no pizza. Oh, no pizza.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.